I'll bang the drum for B-Ball Paul. But the fact that you got Montrezl Harrell in here, I'm excited. And a 1-year deal with an option for a second at 5.2. Nice job, Daryl Morey. Nice job, Doc Rivers. Harrell's a guy that will come in here and he won't take any crap from anybody. Like, you have assembled a pretty tough team here when you also consider PJ Tucker is already here. I consider Joel Embiid to be a pretty tough basketball player. He's gotten in the head of now guys, let's see, his 2 straight backup centers going into the season. Andre Drummond, we all remember, he was the guy that Joel Embiid lived rent-free, some beachfront property in the head of Andre Drummond. Those two seem to get along rather well in Philadelphia. Now, Harrell and Embiid got into a little tussle just last year where there was some pushing and shoving, and now they're teammates again. I don't think there's any issue there. I think everyone knows what Joel Embiid's trying to do when he's on the floor, and that's not just dominate you from a physical standpoint, that's dominate you from a mental standpoint as well. Now Harrell's the guy who's going to be coming off this bench, helping the Sixers win basketball games, and that is nothing to shake a stick at. And I'll tell you why. Because last year we knew how much this bench struggled. Now you have guys on this bench that can help you win and help carry you while your number one guys are sitting out. You can have confidence going into a postseason that your bench is not going to be a detriment. That when all things go down throughout an NBA game and you got to make sure those guys on the bench are spelling your starters, you're going to have guys be able to fill that void and hold a lead. I mean, you're going to have PJ Tucker in your starting lineup. That means, as of right now, with no trade imminent, Matisse Thybulle is going to be a defensive stalwart off the bench, which is his best role. A little bit of a stretch to have him as a starter last year. I wanted him as a starter over Danny Green. He ended up doing fine as a starter, and quite frankly, I thought deserved that role in the playoffs. We all know what happened. He wasn't the same guy after he couldn't come back and play from Toronto. Wasn't the same guy after Doc Rivers, I think, made the right decision to stick with Danny Green as a starter in the playoffs for both experience and also consistency. All right, Thybulle, you're going to start in Philly, and then you're not going to start in Canada. No, just rather go with one starting 5 for that series. I think it was the right call. But having him come off the bench, now a offseason removed from that little debacle in the postseason last year, I think Matisse Thybulle will be a fine basketball player again for the 76ers, at least on the defensive end when we're talking about him getting defensive player of the year type of consideration. It's going to be tough to do that not as a starter, but still be able to bring that type of attitude off the bench for the Sixers, that type of skill set off the bench for the Sixers, which I love. House, guys like that you brought in here, you're going to have a solid bench. George Niang's there. Furkan Korkmaz, when he's not getting in scuffles overseas, we're bringing a lot to you off the bench. Daryl Morey has rebuilt this bench, and it's one of the best stories that we're not talking about enough. Because we can all talk about guys like PJ Tucker coming into the starting lineup. We can talk about other acquisitions in other sports. But the fact that the Sixers have rebuilt their bench right before our very eyes from the start of this offseason and now is a beautiful thing. And it gives me a lot of confidence in this basketball team going forward because you're not just invested in 2 guys, or really 3 guys if you include Tobias Harris in your starting 5 right now as well. It's a great feeling to know that guys can take a break and you're going to have suitable reserves come in and hold down the fort while those guys are getting a break. So love the Harrell signing. Daryl Morey dazzles this offseason. Howie Roseman and Daryl Morey are trying to outdo each other. That's probably why Morey went to that training camp session. That's probably why. You're going to outdo me. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get Montrezl Harrell. How about that? I'm going to bring Harrell here. What do you think about that, Howie? That's probably what went down. Just saying is all.